Hello, everyone, and welcome to your January edition of Book Bites Elementary Nibbles. Happy New Year and welcome to 2021. This month, we are looking back at realistic chapter books that were published in 2020. While I have a soft spot for all things magical and fantastical, I know plenty of readers who prefer their books to take place in a setting more down to earth, and they can still be amazing to read. Although, probably they could be improved with the addition of dragons. I'm just saying. Our first selection for this month's book talk is The Only Black Girls in Town by Brandy Colbert. Alberta has been the only black girl in her California town for 4 years. So when the bed and breakfast across the street is bought by a black family with a girl her age, she's sure they'll be best friends. But Brooklyn goth girl Edie is not sure about this beach town. However, they'll bond over finding old journals in the attic of Edie's new house and manage to learn a lot about race, friendship, and family. This is Brandy Colbert's first middle grade after a lot of awesome YA novels, and she kills it at this age range as well. Great book. Next, we have Efren Divided by Ernesto Cisneros. When Efren's mother is deported to Mexico, his whole life turns upside down. His dad is working several jobs to make ends meet, and Efren has a lot of responsibility taking care of his younger siblings. He also crosses the border to deliver money to his mother. Efren is a great main character, and this book is full of heart and tackles the issue of immigration carefully. It might get you a little teary-eyed at moments, but it doesn't turn Efren into a victim, and it treats his story with a lot of care and love. And the final book for this month's edition is We Dream of Space by Erin and Trada Kelly. This book is set in 1986 with the country and one family all caught up in the excitement of the upcoming Challenger launch. Cash, Fitch, and Bird Thomas are 3 siblings that are all struggling with 7th grade for very different reasons. Cash has already been held back once and has an injury keeping him from playing basketball. Fitch is struggling with his temper, and Bird loves science but feels ignored and shut down. Their science project will bring them together in unexpected ways and change them all. And this month I'll be reading you the first chapter of We Dream of Space by Erin and Trada Kelly. Chapter 1 is titled Wednesday, January 1st, 1986, and it's titled Ready for Takeoff. The pinball machine didn't steal Fitch Thomas's quarter, not really, but when one of the flippers is broken, there's no point in playing. As soon as Fitch realized this, something sparked inside him, something ugly and familiar. He stared at the slot where he'd sunk his quarter only moments before. Easy does it, Fitch. Just go to Mr. Hindley's office and get your quarter back. No big deal. The blinking lights of the machine, Bright Star 1 it was called, seemed out of the place in the arcade today. Fitch looked around. He was one of the only people there. Maybe it was too early for people. It was never too early for him. Ready for takeoff, the lights blazed. He left them behind and walked to Mr. Hindley's office. The door with manager stenciled above the frame was open, as usual. Mr. Hindley was manager, owner, and staff. When quarters were stolen, he was the man to see. Fitch cleared his throat. Mr. Hindley, he said. Mr. Hindley looked up from his ledger. Henry Nelson Thomas, my favorite patron. What brings you to the front office? This was what Mr. Hindley always said, even though no one called him Henry, and Mr. Hindley's office was in the back corner of the small arcade, nowhere near the front. Fitch motioned half-heartedly toward Pinball Row. One of the machines is broken. Mr. Hindley placed both hands on his desk and stood up like President Reagan ready to face the Soviets. That is unacceptable, Patron Thomas, he said. Mr. Hindley was what Fitch's mother would call an odd duck, but he moved fast. Within seconds, he was in front of the Major Havoc game in the center of the arcade, squinting at the screen. Not that one, Fitch said. He pointed at Bright Star 1. This one. Mr. Hindley raised his eyebrows. But you're a Major Havoc guy. One from all from one, fighting for humanity and all that. Yes, it was true. On any given day, Fitch could be found at the park, Delaware. Arcade, officially named the Pinball Wizard, but known to locals as the Arcade on Main. Playing Major Havoc, a game that his best friend, Vern Repass, said was a Star Wars wannabe, even though Major Havoc had been released first, but whatever. Vern was so obsessed with Star Wars that Fitch had developed unfounded resentment toward Luke, Han Solo, and the whole lot of them. Except Vader, maybe. Vader was kind of cool. The more Vern ragged on Major Havoc, the more dedicated and defensive Fitch became, and now he was so preoccupied with beating his own high score that Major Havoc, in all his vector-graphic glory, sometimes appeared in his dreams, demanding that he get to the reactor before everyone exploded. But today was January 1st, and Fitch had made a New Year's resolution to try something different. The last time he was here, his twin sister had come along and been entranced by Bright Star 1 with its spaceship and lights. She didn't want to actually play it. Video games were not her thing. But she tried to convince him to give it a chance. He'd snapped at her to leave him alone, and then felt bad about it later. So he'd gone for the pinball machine this morning, even though no one played pinball anymore. And now look what had happened. Mr. Hindley made his way to Bright Star 1 and tapped it affectionately. "What's wrong with it?" he asked. "The right flipper's broken," replied Fitch. Mr. Hindley pushed the button. When nothing happened, he said, "It's impossible to play a respectable game of pinball with just one flipper." Duh, Fitch thought. Mr. Hindley disappeared into the office and emerged seconds later with a sheet of paper with "Out of Order" written across it in fat black letters. The smell of magic marker wafted in the air as he taped it across Bright Star 1. "Thanks for the heads up, Patron Thomas," Mr. Hindley asked. Mr. Hindley said. He smiled. It was wide and pleasant and took up most of his face. "Anything else I can help you with?" "Yeah, you can give me my quarter," Fitch thought, but he didn't say it out loud. The fire was too bright. Thank you so much for joining me for this month's Book Bites Elementary Nibbles. Don't forget to check out the extended book list for more great chapter books, one of which I bet will win the Newbery Medal at the ALA Youth Media Awards later this month. I'll check back and let you know if I was right. If ever you want personalized recommendations for your specific age or grade level, you can fill out a Find Your Next Request form on our website and get a list of personalized recommendations just for you. Have a great day.